Before you walk away from that dream, that goal, that calling, pause for a moment, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. Take a breath. Let the noise settle. Because this moment right here could be more important than you realize. What if you're not stepping away from something broken, but walking away from something that's just about to break through? What if you're one step away from your breakthrough, from your answer, from that shift you've been praying for? Too many people give up not because they're weak or incapable, but because they never took the time to ask themselves the right questions. They let emotions drive the exit, instead of clarity guiding the decision. When pressure builds and nothing seems to move, it's not always a sign to give up. It might be a sign that you're almost there. Right before the storm clears, it always feels the darkest. Right before the dawn, the night feels the longest. So before you quit, before you throw away all that effort, sacrifice, and time, ask yourself these 5 powerful questions that could redefine your direction and remind you of your purpose. Number 1, why did I start in the first place? When the pressure piles up, when the days feel long and the nights even longer, it's so easy to forget the fire that once lit your path. That initial spark, was it driven by a deep sense of purpose? A calling that stirred something powerful inside of you? Or maybe it was raw passion, an unshakable belief that what you were doing truly mattered. In moments of struggle, it's not uncommon to lose sight of that original drive. Life gets noisy, stress creeps in, and doubts begin to whisper louder than dreams. But this is when it matters most, to pause and go back to the beginning. Revisit the version of you who first dared to start this journey. Remember your why, the reason behind every late night, every early morning, every sacrifice. Because if that reason still tugs at your heart, if it still aligns with your vision for the future, then maybe it's not time to give up. Maybe the resistance you feel is just the weight of transformation and progress. And maybe, just maybe, it's not time to quit. It's time to dig deeper, to reach further, to remind yourself that what ignited you once can fuel you again, stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. Number 2, am I tired or am I done? There's a real difference between being tired and being done. And understanding this difference could be the key to saving your dreams. When you're tired, it's temporary. It's a signal from your body and mind that you need a break. Tiredness can be cured with rest, sleep, and time to recover. It's a sign to pause, not a reason to quit. It's like a warning light in your car that tells you to refuel before you run out of gas completely. The only thing you need is some self-care, some space to breathe, and a chance to recharge. But being done, that's something deeper. It's not just exhaustion. It means that the chapter has ended. You've outgrown the environment, the direction you were heading, or maybe even the very dream you thought you were chasing. It's not about needing a nap. It's about needing a new vision. The problem, however, is that too often we confuse the two. We confuse feeling burned out with being finished, thinking that exhaustion means we've hit the end of the road. We start to feel discouraged, frustrated, or disconnected from our goals, and we mistakenly believe it's time to walk away. But if you're not careful, you'll let temporary feelings of weariness make permanent decisions for your future. This is why it's so important to pause and reflect, to truly understand the difference between the two. Are you feeling drained because you've been pushing too hard without giving yourself the grace to rest and heal? Or have you genuinely reached a point where the path you're on no longer aligns with who you are or where you're meant to go? In these moments of uncertainty, it's easy to jump to conclusions and throw in the towel, but sometimes what you really need isn't to quit. It's to take a step back, breathe, reflect, and reset. It's about giving yourself permission to rest, to clear your mind, and to see things from a fresh perspective. Only then can you come back stronger, more focused, and more energized. Don't make permanent decisions in moments of temporary exhaustion. You're not a failure just because you're tired. Allow yourself the time to heal, to recharge, and then revisit the question, am I really done with this? Or am I just exhausted from the climb? The answer might surprise you. You might find that with a little rest and reflection, you're more capable than you think to continue the journey you started. Number 3, is the pain I feel right now part of the process? Growth hurts. Change hurts. Success isn't painless. It never is. It stretches you beyond your limits, challenges your comfort zone, and demands parts of you that you didn't even know existed. Every single step forward in your journey requires something from you that isn't easy to give. Energy, determination, and sometimes even parts of your identity you thought you'd never have to question. You can't expect a breakthrough without resistance. If you do, you're not on the path to success. You're chasing a fantasy, a dream that doesn't exist. True transformation doesn't show up with a red carpet and an easy walk. No, it often arrives wrapped in adversity, dressed in challenges that seem impossible to face. Every worthwhile goal, every dream that's worth pursuing, has a cost. And that cost is almost always discomfort. It might come in the form of sleepless nights, moments of deep self-doubt, feelings of loneliness, or the physical and mental strain that comes from constantly pushing yourself forward. Progress, the kind of progress that actually makes you better, stronger, and wiser, never comes easily. Real progress is loud, it's messy, it's not some quiet, peaceful experience. It forces you to grow, to adapt, and to become something new. And it almost always comes with growing pains. But here's the key. These growing pains are not signs that you should quit. They're the indicators that you're on the verge of something big, something life-changing. So ask yourself, in those moments of discomfort and uncertainty, what is this pain telling me? Is this a warning sign, telling me that I should stop and give up? Or is it the pressure that builds right before the breakthrough? Is this the resistance before the reward? This is a critical moment of choice. The way you answer that question can determine whether you walk away, abandon your dreams, and settle for a life of what-ifs, or whether you rise to the next level. It's in these tough moments that you get to decide who you truly are. Are you someone who gives up when things get hard? Or are you someone who perseveres, who continues moving forward despite the odds? The resistance you're feeling right now might just be the very thing that propels you toward the success you've been working for all along. Number 4, have I truly given it my best effort? Be honest, not emotional, honest. This moment of reflection isn't about pointing fingers or getting caught up in self-blame or guilt. It's about getting clear, real clarity about where you stand and where you're headed. So often we get swept up in the noise, the rush of emotions, and the pressures of the moment. But clarity only comes when we take a step back and strip away the distractions. Sometimes it's not the mountain that stands between you and your goals. It's the lack of proper preparation, the lack of consistency, and ultimately, the lack of effort you put into the climb. It's easy to point to external factors and blame the situation, the environment, or even others for our setbacks. But what if the real obstacle is internal? What if the things holding you back are the The harsh truth is that you cannot conquer what you are not willing to confront. Confronting the discomfort, the fear, and the challenges head-on is where growth happens. If you want to level up, to truly break through, you've got to show up for yourself, even in the hard moments. So, before you throw in the towel, ask yourself once again, have I really done all I could? Or am I simply stepping aside because I'm scared of what the real work might demand from me? Remember, the hard work, the discomfort, the struggle, it's all part of the journey. So, take a deep breath, and before making that final decision to quit, ensure you've faced your fears, given everything you've got, and left no stone unturned. Only then will you know if it's time to walk away, or if it's time to push forward, stronger and more focused than ever before. Number 5. Who am I becoming if I quit now? Every choice you make carves a deeper path into the person you're becoming, shaping not only your actions, but your mindset, resilience, and character. Each decision, no matter how small it seems, is a reflection of who you are right now, and more importantly, who you choose to be in the future. The road is rarely straight, and it's often easy to be swayed by external pressures or internal fears. But the choices you make during those times say everything about your true character. Quitting isn't just a moment of action. It's a reflection of your values, your mindset, your resilience, and your willingness to fight or fold. It speaks volumes about how you view challenges and how much you believe in your own strength. When things get tough and the weight of the world feels unbearable, the temptation to give up grows stronger. You might question your worth, your abilities, and your future. But take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, am I someone who lets the weight of difficulty determine my worth? Or are you the one who digs in, holds firm, grits your teeth, and dares to rise through the fire, stronger, more determined, and more resilient than before? Quitting doesn't necessarily mean you're weak. It can also mean you're being honest with yourself. It shows you're human. It means you felt the weight of your journey, and you're making a decision based on reality, not fantasy. But before you make that call, pause. Reflect on your true intentions and the bigger picture. Take a moment to ask yourself the questions that will guide you in the right direction. It's important not to allow a temporary setback to make permanent decisions. Sometimes, the most valuable thing you can do is to step back and reassess, then push forward with renewed clarity. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I truly ready to quit? Or am I simply at a crossroads where growth lies just ahead? The answers you find in those moments will guide you, not only today but throughout your journey. Because maybe, just maybe, this moment isn't a breakdown. It isn't an end. It's the beginning of your breakthrough. You're standing at the threshold of something greater, and it's often in these darkest hours that the light of success begins to break through. Sometimes, the hardest battles lead to the most powerful transformations. Keep going, because you're closer than you think. If you've made it this far, drop a 100 in the comments. It shows you are part of the 1% that's improving every single day.